Help me out by hitting that like button and subscribe too. Day 5 saw Jonah push further up into the delta, which was to prove a mini-epic in of itself. However, the leg was a mixed bag of light air sailing followed by motoring. When I arrived at my proposed stopping off spot for the night, it was crowded. Well, there was one other boat, and I didn't want to be that guy. So I set off further to pastures new, up a fork in the river, and into some shallows that I barely made it through. Nowhere to stop for the night presented itself, so I continued to where the river rejoined the main tributary. Then I took what looked like an interesting spot over to starboard, and promptly fouled the propeller in some water-bourne bindweed. Still with no place to call home and getting rather exhausted now, I continued the search for a place to drop the hook. Eventually I settled for a spot near some private moorings, and was alone for the night in a quite picturesque spot. Bucolic it may have been, but quiet it was not. Boats going by in the main channel presented a wake that rocked Jonah incessantly. I resolved to move in the morning. Day 6, and at first light, breakfast was had and we weighed anchor to return to the location I had previously declined. It was to be even busier now, with several boats ensconced. So I went the other side of a close-by reed bed and found privacy in my own improvised location. It was paradise found. The inflatable kayak was launched and I explored the reed beds. Paddling further, I returned to the main anchorage and drifted by a rather spiffing-looking vessel. Not as spiffing as Jonah, but spiffing nonetheless. The total classic of a sailboat in the traditional style. Returning to the good ship Jonah, I was now taking regular dips in the river, as it was getting really quite hot. Muggy even. By late afternoon, clouds to the east seemed to be telling of a thunderstorm. That evening I was treated to the most spectacular display, the like of which I have never seen before. A psychedelic sunset to the west was coincident with a rainbow to the east. I kid you not, it was amazing. I videoed a lot and took several photos too. As darkness descended, faint rumblings of thunder grew stronger. Spots of rain began to fall. The wind got up, and the dusk sky lit up with flashes of lightning. Then, all of a sudden, I was beset by mosquitoes. Not just any plain pest either. Big, perhaps the biggest I've ever seen. They were obviously attracted to my headlamp and began populating the interior of the boat. Mosquito netting was frantically deployed, and I set about swatting the buggers, which were not hard to find on account of the tremendous buzzing noise they made. Finally, the situation was brought under control, and I avoided getting bitten too much. Now confined to the cabin, daring not to venture outside on account of those monsters, I set an anchor alarm and watched to see if the boat would drag anchor during the night.